Good morning, my name is JP and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to discuss politics, but before we go any further, I'd like you to hit the subscribe button please, so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. So we're going to dive deep into recent comments that were made by both Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the Manchester United co-owner, and Nigel Farage, the Reform leader, also former UKIP owner. Both men were recently recorded to have said that the UK population in 2020 was 58 million and 70 million in 2025. Sir Jim Ratcliffe went further and said that the UK was being colonized by immigrants. And as you can imagine, those comments sparked outrage up from all over, including from his own fans. Now we're going to dissect these comments and do a little more. Firstly, the UK population in 2020 was 67 million. Yes, 67 million, not 58 million. Which means that the UK population has increased by approximately 3 million over the last 5 years or so. The last time the UK population was 58 million was, guess what? In 2000. That was over 2.5 decades ago. Over 2.5 decades ago. But this is what Reform and Brexiteers do. They want to strike fear. They want to make us believe that things are worse than they actually are. Not saying that it's paradise, but things are not as bad as they want to make it look. But that's what they do. And that's part of their strategy. That's part of their modus vivendi. Just like someone else across the Atlantic. You all know who I'm talking about. Another interesting fact is that migrants contribute to approximately 20 billion pounds every year to the UK economy. Yes, 20 billion pounds approximately every year. And that's approximately 19,500 pounds per head per year. In terms of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, another interesting fact that you want to know, this gentleman is also the owner of Inus. He's the 7th wealthiest person in the UK, moved Inus to Switzerland in 2010, then brought the headquarters back to the UK in 2016, voted for Brexit, and took Inus to Monaco. And Monaco is a tax haven. A tax haven whereby the locals are also outnumbered by a ratio of 4-1 by foreigners. And here we are talking, and here's the man who's saying that the UK is being colonized by foreigners. What's even more interesting is that Manchester United, the club he co-owns, has 70% of its players who are foreign nationals. And his company Inus, well, guess what? Thanks to or because of the relocation, Inus has been receiving over £1 billion throughout the last 5 years. So it's important that everybody understands what's really going on. It's important that everybody understands that things are not as bad as they want to make it look, as Reform and Brexiteers want to make it look. It's all a ploy to gain more votes because there's elections coming up in May. So every opportunity to make people think that they're the solution. Yeah, but the reality is that things are not as bad as they want to make it look. Not saying it's paradise, but let's be honest. Migrants contribute an awful lot to the UK economy in more ways than one. So, before we say goodbye, I just want to remind you to please hit the subscribe and like buttons and stay tuned for more. Peace.